So, have you ever stopped to think about where monsters actually come from? I'm not talking about the ancient ones from old books, but the new ones, the folklore that's being born like right now. Okay, let's get into it. Because today we're going to explore how the internet, in all its wonderful, creative chaos, is basically becoming the world's biggest myth-making machine. I mean, think about it. The internet is this giant digital ocean of completely disconnected ideas. You've got someone on Reddit who's furious because their brand new keyboard is missing a shift key. And then, just a click away, there are hundreds of people seriously debating whether to name their new black cat Bela Lugosi or Sir Lord Sesshomaru. It's just a beautiful jumble of tech problems, pet pics, and a whole lot of inside jokes. But you know, something really fascinating starts to happen inside all that noise. All that mundane, everyday chaos. It becomes the raw material for something totally different. We literally go from complaining about broken keyboards to creating entirely new, and sometimes, yeah, kind of broken, realities. So how does that actually work? How do you get a coherent monster with a whole backstory, strengths, and weaknesses to just emerge from this primordial soup of memes and forum posts? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack right here. And to really get it, we need to dissect one of these digital creations first. We're going to take a look at the anatomy of a modern myth. It almost always kicks off with a single personal moment of creativity, a drawing in a notebook or a quick sketch online. This right here is a chimera. It's not some slick corporate design, right? It's a hand-drawn creature born from one person's imagination and just shared out into the world. And this is where it gets good. This shows the very next step. See, the picture alone isn't enough. It needs a story. So that simple drawing suddenly gets this vivid narrative. It's not just lines on a page anymore. It's a real creature with a presence, moving through a scene, glimmering menacingly under the moonlight. It comes alive. But for a myth to really grab hold online, it needs more than just a good story. It needs structure. It needs rules. It's got to be almost like a character in a video game or an entry in a monster manual. Now, what's so interesting here is this mix of the super formal and the totally fantastic. A chimera gets a proper scientific classification, right? Class Reptilia, order Squamata. But then you look at its weaknesses: American military, brief people, and, my favorite, just day. This blend of serious world building with these quirky specific details, that is a total hallmark of internet folklore. And listen, this isn't just a one-off. We see this exact same pattern with all kinds of other creations, like the Dark Holmium, which is this lore god you can supposedly find on Pokemon Death Island. It starts with a drawing, it gets a detailed backstory, and it's given a list of specific goals and weaknesses. A formula is definitely starting to emerge. But here's the thing. These new monsters, they rarely live in a vacuum. They start to interact with each other and with worlds that we already know and love. And this is where we see the second key ingredient, the crossover connection. Yeah, modern mythmakers don't just build their own sandboxes. They plug their creations directly into ones we already know. Take this evil magician, Malachar. His main goal isn't to conquer some random fantasy land. Nope, it's specifically to dominate Equestria, the world of My Little Pony. His whole dark magic vibe is a direct threat to the show's core theme of friendship is magic. And honestly, it gets even wilder when you look at the alliances these things form. A chimera, our little hand-drawn creature, is apparently allied with a whole crew of villains from My Little Pony and Mayor Humdinger from the preschool show Paw Patrol. The internet has basically become this playground where characters from totally separate universes can just team up. It's amazing. This crossover thing sometimes takes a much darker turn into the world of creepypasta. Instead of just adding a new character, creators will invent entire lost episodes of our favorite shows. So here, a simple killer stick figure becomes this terrifying entity that corrupts the super cheerful world of Equestria from the inside out, turning friendship into pure fear. Okay, so you have all these new creatures and twisted stories running wild online. The next impulse is a very human one. You gotta organize it. You have to catalog the chaos. To make the lore feel more legit, creators will invent entire fictional organizations. The American Mature Bureau, which even has its own official-looking seal, exists in this universe to issue warnings about mature or disturbing content, like a page on a so-called Pokemon murdering experiment. It mimics real-world bureaucracy just to make the fiction feel more real. They even create their own terminology. A monster that crosses over from another franchise isn't just a crossover, it's a cameo cryptid. By creating this special vocabulary, the community builds this shared framework that legitimizes their creations and makes the whole system feel so much more coherent. And get this, they create these elaborate, fictional histories. Ihimra wasn't created in, 2022. No. According to the lore, its legend has been circulated since 1983. This retroactive dating gives the myth a sense of depth and history that it just wouldn't have otherwise. It makes a brand new creation feel ancient. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. Why? Why put so much time and effort into these drawings, these stories, these rules and histories? What's the driving force behind this huge explosion of digital folklore? I mean, it's a question that really gets to the heart of why we as humans create stories at all, and what those stories really say about us. So here's the bottom line. These creations aren't just random bits and pieces of online noise. They're the evolution of a timeless human tradition. The internet, it's become our digital campfire. And these are the stories we're telling each other in the dark. Just look at this image of the Lyric, the Auckland Big Bird. It looks like it was drawn in MS Paint back in the early 2000s. And that's the absolute beauty of it. The tech doesn't have to be fancy. It's that fundamental human impulse to create, to imagine, and to share a story. That's what really matters. And when you really break it down, the process is exactly the same as it's been for thousands of years. You look at your world, or in this case, the internet. You create a character to embody an idea or a fear. You give that character a story and a set of rules. And then you share it with your tribe. The medium has changed, sure, but the art of myth-making itself is eternal. You know, from the fruit-tart tales of the Mediterranean Sea to the zombie Hellas near the Caspian, these new legends are popping up all over the place. And it just leaves us with one final thought. This whole process is happening all around us all the time. So, what new myths, what new monsters, and what new heroes are being born in your corner of the internet right now?